Welcome to the Nancy Perspective, where every story is a reminder that life's hardest battles often belong to the kindest hearts. It's like a breath as I sit and look at you. This is my incredible friend. Oh, her name now is gone. Katherine
Ilnitski.
Ilnitski. Oh, it was in there. Katherine Ilnitski. I sit across from you. We've known each other at least before COVID.
Mm-hmm.
I met you at a time in your life. I believe it was the day I met you was the day that I showed up for your mom's wake or mom's, what would you, was it your wake?
Yeah.
At a moment when I felt your pain and I hugged you and I felt it. And I don't know what connected me to you that day, but I felt a deep connection to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember going home and just not being able to let that go. I think we sat after that.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had many moments that we've sat over the years. You've helped me in your therapy. You connected me with our incredible friend, Jen.
Mm-hmm.
That has helped my health kind of do a flip of I have no words for. And yet this time, when I asked for podcast guest, you said yes.
Mm-hmm.
And yet every other time, it's like, no, not ready. No, not the right time. So why today? Why now? Timing are you sitting with me today?
Well, I think it's timing, divine timing maybe.
Yeah.
Or feeling that it's important that I share.
It's funny, when you said important, my whole chakra just lit up.
Mm.
What does that mean? Why? What does the word important mean?
Good question.
Mm-hmm. I get to be the therapist today. It's
Yes.
a huge moment of the therapist.
Yes. I think not when I say important, I'm not. It's not from a selfish place.
Yes. It's funny how we even have to validate that.
Yeah,
isn't it?
It's feeling like it's important to share that others. It's more about what others may need. If there's something valuable, even if it's a smidge of something that somebody can take away from, my lived experience or professional experience, or I'll combine that. It just feels like now's the time. There's so much happening for people and in the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're all looking for something to grab a hold of.
Yeah, and I think you as the therapist and the helper that you are, myself as the helper that I am, we've always wanted to help. And yet I also know that as the helper, that in life we have to learn also how to help ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's the challenge, right? Is being open to help others, but recognizing that you yourself must also go on that same journey.
Mm-hmm.
As that helper, how have you continued to help yourself grow and shift through all of the hard that so many of us have had today? And I know that you've gone through your own journey.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that, like probably most humans, I'm someone that I don't make change unless there's suffering attached.
Yeah,
we're not good at changing things unless there's suffering.
Yeah, we like that.
Yeah,
you and I like a lot of suffering.
Yes, I like a wall. I'll slide down it. I'll hang on to I'll hang on to that wall.
Yeah.
Sometimes I see them coming more. Oh yes, we're going to a wall, but I still sometimes need to hit it.
Yeah.
So I'm still always learning what my signs are of how it's time to help yourself. It's time to slow down. It's time to implement balance. And I'm really trying not to be, a helper. Some of my colleagues and I joke around. It's the do as I say, not as I do.
Yes.
It's not funny.
Yeah. No.
But it's kind of true.
But it is true, right?
Yeah.
Because I think, and I'm going to say this, and I hope that you don't hit me on the way out, but it's like, as the helper, we become the help to help because we forget that a lot of the reason that we want to help is what we're avoiding.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sure. It's a great distraction to not focus on yourself.
Yeah.
And I think there is something, like I learned growing up, there's, a lot in helping others or servitude to others and getting outside of yourself.
Yeah.
And, how that can contribute to our feelings of confidence and our feelings of, I don't know, just completeness and happiness. But where there needs to be the balance, not to self-sacrifice and not to be selfish.
Yeah.
The balance is, I always say to my clients, self-care is in there.
Well, it's a balance, and I don't know about you, but you and I have gone through some health challenges, and I think that's how we connected is on the fact of the health challenges and the patterns of pain. We've been, I call it, blessed to see, to learn, but those patterns of pain can be very much debilitating, right? And also becomes a daily balance of something you can't control.
Right.
So can you share with my audience a little bit of the pain that you've gone through or the journey of health that you've gone through? Because I believe that what you do now is help others differently. Why have you gotten to that place of the word differently?
Whew, big question.
Yeah, welcome.
I'll see if I can
unravel it a little.
Unravel it. So I have had issues with my health since I was very young, very, very little. Raised, my mother was very much before her time into holistic health, into healing, always wanting to know why and what the root causes were. And then on my father's side, Ukrainian, Polish immigrant grandparents who came to Canada, lived, farming, always wanted to know what was in everything. And, in the air, in the water, and in the food. And I remember thinking when I was younger, it's like, this is kind of strange. Like, what have you done that's so terrible that makes you think somebody's going to try to poison you, right? I mean, they did come from wartime and had to flee, but I always thought, why is it there's this hyper focus on what's in the food, what's in this, what's in that. And as I started to learn more about how, our bodies respond to toxins, to emotions, to, all of these things, then I started, these are signals and signs that something's not working.
Yeah.
My body's not happy.
Yeah. What were those signals for you? Can I ask that?
Yeah, I started to, it was with my immune system.
Yeah.
What I would say is kind of overreactions to food, or it might be just stress.
Yeah.
A few stints where I might get, violently ill, end up in the hospital, couldn't really figure out what it was. And then I just kind of go about, well, that was just random.
Yeah.
Then it would be, weight loss or weight changes, or my body just wouldn't like certain foods for periods of time. And then as time went on, I started developing other symptoms.
Yep.
And I guess it was in 2004 was really a moment in time where things really shifted. It had to.
Yeah.
Before then I was in my 20s. I'm going to school. I'm focusing on my education. I'm not thinking about, all these foundational things that I learned about health and how to take care of my body. I was like, I just want to be like everybody else, and I'm not going to worry about that stuff. I'm young. In 2004, I went through a pretty significant injury, an at-work placement injury. Yeah. And there was things going on in my personal life that were really traumatic, and I was just trying to push through.
Yeah, like we all do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're just going to keep going, keep work. You're a strong Ukrainian woman, and that's...
Well, we're not supposed to stop.
Right. That's just what you do. So eventually, my body started to say no. I started having severe pain, inflammation in my brain. I started having, depression symptoms, couldn't eat hardly anything at all. Everything was shutting down, and I'm still trying to push through.
Wow.
So, yeah. And instead of going to my roots, I'll go to the medical system. Give me something so I can continue to push through.
But that's what we're taught.
Yeah.
Right? And when you say the word roots, that's often what you unravel after what we get out of what we've been taught.
Yeah.
But it's amazing how that's what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went down that path and it wasn't helping. It was making things much worse.
Yeah.
And I remember I wasn't working. I was, basically, having a little bit of a pity party. I'm, at this age and stage and my body's just had enough.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's wrong with me? What's going on? And I remember I was laying in bed having my pity party and I was watching BBC and Dr. Daniel Amen came on.
Okay. I don't know Dr. Daniel.
Oh, you got to look him up.
Oh,
You
I
don't know
do.
Dr. Daniel
Okay.
Amen.
Yeah.
So he's a psychiatrist in the United States, but he also operates very holistically.
Okay.
He's one of the only psychiatrists that I'm aware of globally that actually does scans on the brain before he treats his patients.
Wow.
Which makes sense.
Oh, of course it does.
Everybody else looks at the organ, right,
Yeah.
that they're going to treat normally before they decide to treat it.
Wow.
But for some reason, in the profession of psychiatry, that's not common.
Yeah. Wow.
So I had some listens to what he had to say about autoimmune, about inflammation in the body, about post-concussion syndrome. I had, injury in my neck and definitely concussed.
Yeah.
Nervous system, everything connected. And I'm sitting there going,
What were what were your profound learnings? Like, what was the one thing in that moment that was like really resonated with you?
It was my job
Okay.
to take the steering wheel again.
Yeah.
Nothing was going to change unless I did something about it.
Yeah. That's the hardest part of it all. It's so easy to take pills.
Yeah.
Right?
Not for me because I have severe side effects.
So me too.
Me too. It's not easy.
What I've realized now, but at the time it was easier than it was because we had to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Than to take the time and pause and go, what is really going on?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it turned on a switch for me and reminded me, when I was younger and, growing up, and my mom was always, what we ate, and here's a supplement, here's a remedy, there was always something for something. Like we were not brought up on, taking medication. I can't recall. Maybe if I had to take a Tylenol, it was pretty rare, an antibiotic, things like that. And, a lot of focus on our nutrition. We weren't allowed to have juice and pop, and that was a special occasion.
Yeah.
We felt deprived, It was exciting to go to our friend's house and be like, craft dinner and hot dogs, woohoo! That was luxury food for us. I mean, obviously now it's flipped, but
yeah. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
You had a mom that was so I had a mom that was a nurse.
Mm-hmm.
That every time we got sick, we had an Advil or a Tylenol or a pill. Right? So very different growings. And yet for myself, the realization was when I got to the Mayo Clinic and they gave me this path forward of getting rid of those pills and going inside and learning what is really going on and starting to crack some of the trauma and the crap that had got stuck in there in hopes that I could rewire and do different.
Yeah.
Right? And that is what you do a lot with your patients as well, right? You start to, you retrain. Tell me a little bit about what you do with your patients as well. Or your patients, your clients?
Clients, yeah.
I call them patients.
Yeah.
Clients.
Not a doctor, I say, but I just play one on TV. Yeah. No, it's just a joke, but
like that.
Kind of diverting to that piece is really looking at, as you know, with the logosynthesis tool.
Yeah.
For anybody that's interested in logosynthesis, I don't want to butcher it, and I apologize to Willem Lammers, who's the developer of logosynthesis. I probably won't get this exactly right, but it is, a tool that we are finding that can be so helpful in, changing up belief systems, limitations, perspectives, projections, points of view that get locked in. We take it, we own it. That's mine. That's my belief system. And then we operate our lives that way.
Wow. But I feel like the journey you've gone on in your own health and what your parents have taught you and then what you do now are so almost together as one.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful gift when you start to use what you teach the world for yourself. It's often not as easy as we think it is, though, is it?
No, it's not. And I don't think it was the intention.
Yeah.
It's, fortunately or unfortunately, it's like going through chronic pain, going through autoimmune issues, going through my own, having post-traumatic stress diagnosis and, working through that.
Yeah.
So when people come, it's not necessary that you have that experience to help people, but I think it's just a lot different when you've kind of walked those paths.
So
And
I agree.
And my hope is always to give people other options or help them to feel more empowered about, what do you want to do?
Yeah.
Where do you want to go? And have you, looked at this possibility, this possibility, this possibility?
Yeah. Well, I think it's interesting because as you were talking about that, it's asking people, but I truly believe that we have all the answers within.
Mm-hmm.
And part of the unraveling of these beautiful blessings we get of illness is realizing the messages we're missing
Mm-hmm.
and the opportunity that lies in those messages. Would you agree with that?
Yes, if we're willing to listen.
If we're willing to listen.
And I can appreciate that, people, if I were to say, oh, illness is a blessing, they might look at me like,
I agree.
I don't think so. And I think there's a certain level of illness that we can say that it's information.
Yeah.
But I think that a lot of us are in such a pattern now. We don't tune in. We don't listen to those early signs. And then it becomes too late. We're behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, I know. But that's because we've not been taught, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like unraveling the patterns of what we've been taught to see the truth of it. And it's not an easy pathway.
No.
Right?
Instead of leaning in and saying, okay, our bodies are designed, and even with mental health, these are symptoms. Instead of looking at it as what's wrong with me, what's my system trying to tell me? Tune in, because it makes us stop and pause. If it wasn't for pain, we wouldn't. Yeah. And oftentimes, we don't want to lean in. And trust me, I've been there.
I know, me too.
I've been on, on the bathroom floor after 4 days of, severe pain, saying, okay, what am I supposed to, what am I supposed to be learning from this moment right now? Or, here I am just humbled on the floor, hoping things are going to change really soon.
Why is it that we need to be on the floor, at the wall? Like you said, we are women that like to push through because that's what we've been taught. And yet, I don't know about you, but lately I'm learning to catch myself before I get to the wall. But why is it that it's drilled in our head that we have to hit the wall?
Yeah. Well, I mean, culturally, societally, I think there's some kind of there's value in collapsing. And I know that people might say, what is she talking about? But it's not okay to stop.
Yeah.
And I saw it so much during the pandemic, right?
I bet.
People forced to stop, and how uncomfortable, how upsetting, how stressful that is. And I always ask people, where are you going so fast? Where are you going, and where are you going so fast? And for some people, it's like, I'm just in this perpetual go, 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 do, do, do.
Yeah.
And then the pandemic came along and hit the stop button on their treadmill, and they flew off and they hit the wall.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but the stop is where the voice has become really powerful. Where like everything I thought I couldn't hear is so clear now I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's an interesting place to be, isn't it?
Yeah.
When it all of a sudden starts to make sense, and yet it's taken those moments of the stubbornness to get to that place of what if I stop and start listening?
Yeah, there's fear. Yeah. Our identity is wrapped up in the human doing, not the human being. The human doing is celebrated, right? How much you do and accomplish. And I think we've moved away from just the contribution that we are as human beings and being here.
Yeah, I know.
We're really
agree.
disconnecting from that, and the human doing, if that's where we get our value from, take that away.
Yeah.
What do you have?
Yeah.
I remember my mom, I'll probably refer to her a lot, and her wisdom, and me going through this push, and I need to do more and don't listen. She said, Katherine, get down off the cross. We need the wood. Stop being a martyr, right? And I was like, what? You know?
I resonate. That just came into my head because it's the same. I was said differently, but powerful. What made you really get off that cross?
Gosh. I think it's, sometimes I still try to crawl up there.
Me too.
It's, I think it was just, really, what am I doing? Where am I going?
Yeah.
Those questions. And I just wasn't living the life that I had envisioned or imagined for myself.
I get that.
I was trying to make things work that just were not working.
Yeah.
And just a lot of barriers along the way, trying to make things happen, and they just weren't happening.
Yeah. The word push, right? The word force. Like, I don't know about you, but as I've surrendered and put down the sword and stopped meeting the wall, the things that I needed are already there differently than ever before. And that word of balance, like I said, is like a daily thing, but I understand it differently now. But it's taken a lot of those moments where I've had to sit and figure them out. Right?
Yeah.
If we're getting to the end of part 1, and we're going to flow into part 2 as well, but there are lots of people in this world right now with lots of messages of pain, with lots of things going on in their life that are still running that rat race, because now after COVID, we've picked it back up again. What would you say to those people right now? I'll maybe add in something. Say to those people who don't want to, but are still doing it.
I guess, well, the question would be, I might have a question, is how is it serving? And I know that maybe how is it serving you? And sometimes, that question can evoke a reaction.
Yeah.
But I think even in, what we perpetuate, it's serving a purpose for us in some ways. So is that serving more than something else, right? Everything's a trade.
Everything is a trade. And I guess too, the question becomes, if it's serving, wonderful, but if it's not, what is it hindering or hiding? Because oftentimes under this pattern of running.
Yeah. Well, being overwhelmed, it's even in being in I'm busy, I'm overwhelmed, and I'm just in reaction mode to everything that's happening in my life, is a distraction from what?
Yeah.
There's maybe all these other things. I'm too busy. I even used to say, it's kind of funny, like, I'm too busy over here worrying. Can't you see? Like, I'm busy. Right? I don't have time to, deal with the fact my house is burning down, which is us, ourselves, our whole, everything's on fire, but I'm over here worrying and I'm distracted. So it's the things that we do usually, there's some purpose behind it. We just might not know.
Yeah. Have you figured out the purpose as to why you've been on the journey that you've been on with your health?
I think it's evolving.
Yeah.
I think there's always, I'm going to always be learning, whether it's hopefully that I can help or be a contribution to others, whether it's sharing or how I show up in my work, how I show up in my relationships for others or in the world, right? How I take care of myself or don't is, whether I like it or not, it's a contribution, good or bad.
Well, I think the connection of you and I is the fact of the patterns. The blessing has been in, I know the word blessing is a fine line now that I'm going to say for myself, but the lesson for me has come with breaking the cycle of pain that I was allowing myself to go through and learning that some of that pain wasn't actually mine to begin with. And learning how to hold my own pain and deal with it, and also discern or feel other people's pain. Can I say it that way? Does that resonate with you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The plight of the empath, right?
Yes.
And I have clients ask me the question, what's the difference between a highly sensitive person, an empath, somebody that has trauma?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're more in tune for one reason or another, because we need to know what's happening in our environment for our safety.
Yes.
So I don't really know how to answer the question. Probably be lots of people that would debate it with me, but I think it comes from a place of safety. If I can anticipate your needs and emotions, then that determines how I respond to you, and hopefully I'll respond in a way that creates safety.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this isn't new, right? Humans are supposed to be able to tune to our environment. Animals do.
Yeah.
But we've just gotten so cerebral.
Well, that's right. And I think that's the disconnect for so many is we're in here, not here.
Yeah.
Right? The opportunity is to become in here and unravel everything and not place so much in the worry section.
Yeah.
Right.
But I'm a professional worrier.
Yeah. Me too.
I help people with that issue too, but I also, mine can really get clocked in sometimes.
And I think that's where I want to go in part 2, because there are so many of us that are brilliant humans with this worry that we need to find the balance of, because it is a gift and a curse. And yet it is a huge opportunity to learn when we figure out what to do with it. Is we're not alone in that. And the fact that you said it out loud is a huge opportunity forward and further discussions to happen. So I think we'll end part 1 with that, because I think in the next part, I want to unravel the strategies that you've developed to shift out of the worry as best as you can.
Yeah.
And move forward differently, because maybe that's going to be where we also continue to help. Thank you for part 1. I'm so glad you showed up today.
Thank you.
And on to part 2.
Okay.
Bye for now. If this podcast resonates with you, it would mean the world to me if you would download my book, Listen to Your Fucking Heart. It's available as an ebook or hard copy on Amazon, and the link is also found in my social media bios. This book shares my perspective and story about hitting rock bottom over and over again and finding myself again. I wrote it with a purpose and a mission to help so many people who are looking for guidance as they try to empower themselves forward.